by the way, welcome to the show.
Is that for everyone? Is that for me specifically, or is it just open, brother?
That's welcome I'll say it differently. Welcome to the show, Mac. And my question to you is, how did that conflict? Tell me the story. Tell us the story behind that conflict. And I know that's not the number one part, but that's where we started. So, contribution versus cash is the
Okay.
way I'm reading it.
um, I've never had a career. I don't understand the idea of a career. It makes no sense to me at all. So I've done everything from being an actor, a touring musician, a yacht charter captain, in sales, and all kinds of stuff. And more than once, especially when I was on the sales side, um, not working for myself at that point, but working for somebody else, I was told more than once that, like selling boats, if the boat falls apart, they can sue us. These are two French guys. If they can sue us, you sell the boats. You sell the boats. Don't worry about whether it falls apart. That's none of your business.
I got it. That stuck, didn't it?
Oh man, I just in fact, these two guys at one point threatened to take me up back and beat me up.
Well, that's ethical.
Yeah, it certainly is. Oi,
Jeez. So basically, the message was sell it. Doesn't matter what happens next.
you got it, man. And
Oh,
even that, I felt that right in the pit of my stomach.
yeah. Yeah. It reminds me of I was at a workshop once speaking and got talking to a guy I had been an affiliate before. And this guy was coming out with an affiliate offer every week, sometimes 2 a week. And I was just, curious. And what it came down to is what he said. He goes, Jeff, I don't know how long this is going to last. So I want to get as much money out of everybody as I can, as quick as I can. Yeah, and I went, "Well, we've just" and I'm thinking to myself, "I'm not gonna be your affiliate anymore, pal. We've done our last deal." Um, and we see a lot of that, and what I think it causes is there was a I hadn't thought about this in years. Back in Orlando in the '70s, there was a stereo store, and their slogan was, "We don't rub cheese on your neck." Okay? And there was a guy the graphic was a guy screaming with cheese being shoved into his neck. The meaning being, we're not gonna hard sell you, right? Okay? And so we're actually gonna here's a concept, care about the boat we sell you and your enjoyment of it and how long it lasts. Okay, I like that. Um, so that one got in deep. How much of that is still there that you've gotta sell and not care?
I have a really finely tuned bullshit alarm for other people who are, you know, we had a guy who tried to sell us on the solar panels, and I liked him because con men are always likable. I mean, that's how that's why they're
Or it
con.
works.
Yeah,
Sociopaths are likable.
and and we're surrounded by trees, so our house gets sunlight like an hour a day. And I said, how can that possibly work? And he said, don't worry about that. These are high efficiency, blah, 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 blah. It will significantly cut into your electrical bill. And then I talked to some people in the business and they said, well, it will by about 15%. And it'll cost you $19,000 to install. You do the
Yeah.
math.
Yeah. And you'll make your money back in 2103. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it. Got it. All right. So what I'm hearing and what we talked about was that the it's not so much contribution versus cash. It's how to do it with class. How do you like that alliteration?
That's not bad for on the spot for an old guy.
Yeah. How about that? How about that? That one lands. Okay. So what we can do with that is begin playing with the story. And so how would you say it now? You're not caught by that boat thing. You see it as an ethical relationship, contribution and getting paid, and yet you want to do that cleanly with class, ethically. How would you say that?
Um, I get paid so that I can do this. I don't do this so that I can get paid.
I like that a lot. I g I get paid so I can do this. I don't do this so I can get paid. Yeah, I like that because what it allows for is a really nice circle that I'll talk about in a minute. Now, the boat story, blending into how do I market? How do I invite people with how do I do that ethically? Okay. Now, the connection to the boat story, um, does that help more people or less people? The boat story.
Are you talking to the chat group now?
Talking to you. I'm talking to you.
Um, I was not. I'm not a big fan of certainty, but I'm a huge fan of clarity. I'm still uncertain about a whole bunch of things, but I'm very clear about where my boundary is on this. I've had clients who have called me to do something for them that rang that alarm, and I have said, perhaps I can refer you to somebody. And it's not because I'm a candidate for sainthood, but if it if it feels smarmy, it probably is,
Yes.
right?
Yes. So, um, non-swarmy invitations, and I'm not even sure we'll use the word marketing. We're talking about invitations, right? And that's something you can do well. Um, so and let me take a shot here. Um, money is a nice thing. It's a good thing to have. Okay. But like the show today, money is not the reward. Transformation is. Watching somebody get it and leave different than they got here is what does it for me. Um, so, is it possible for doing good? This is a question to you. Is it possible for doing good and making money to be partners?
Absolutely.
Okay. If you were going to invite somebody to something you're offering, give me a way, put all the, pull all the slimy stuff from online and the boat people and roll it up into one nasty, ugly looking ball. And I'm not, I know you're not going to do this, but if you were, how would you do it? What's the smarmiest you could do?
Oh, now you're scaring me.
Knock you right out of your comfort zone. There's a method to my madness on that.
Which is good, and, I know you well enough to know that this is not an act of unkindness. Um,
Exactly.
yeah, if I if I don't start with my own experience when I design a course or a class or an intervention or coaching, whatever I'm doing, if I don't start absolutely rigorously, honestly about my own experience and build from there, um, then I'm pretending that I have deep learning on something that I don't.
Okay.
Right?
So
Go ahead.
origin story. How'd you get here? Right? What's your background that makes you able to do this?
Um, I got fired in 1994
Cool.
when I told the superintendent of schools to her face that she was effing crazy.
Yeah,
Uh,
that'll do it.
it, I tell you what, guaranteed. Um, but that gave me a pause, and in that pause, I looked down back at all the places I'd worked, and I've had like I don't know 38 jobs or something, and I realized they were all dysfunctional. And there's
Wow.
only
That's a
so
lot.
what, but some were like crazy dysfunctional. Some were just mildly dysfunctional. Um, and I realized that they all had only one other thing in common: me.
Yeah, there
So
is that.
yeah, if some
So
you look too hard for an answer. Yeah.
yeah.
So, yeah.
So does the the distinction between marketing and invitation fit for you?
I love that.
Okay.
I,
Okay. And
you've,
so,
yep,
you
you
know, I
I do it.
people all the time talk about calls to action, CTAs, you
Mhm.
know, and we were teasing a little bit before we went live, but it takes on the flavor of, 4 hours left, 2 hours left, 1 hour left, you know, or and if you don't do it, you're going to be broke by tomorrow and your family will starve. Um, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but not by a whole lot, folks. Um, and so instead of calls to action, I like talking about invitations. Okay. Invitational promotion or invitational marketing. So, given the rewriting of this story, that contribution and cash can go together, and invitation is a good thing, okay? How would you go about, and part of we'll talk about this, this is not all on you. How would you go about, let's say you've got a new course coming out. How would you invite somebody? What words would you use?
I'm a recovering English teacher, so I have to not think about this too much.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
it would
You're not going to get graded on this, bud.
no. Well, we'll see. It would start with some version of this is what I've discovered. This is what I've found.
I love that. So discover,
Right.
and then what next?
Um, we ought, in fact, it's got a term. It's called near enemies. Those are things that seem like the right thing, but really aren't the right thing. Like the thing I sent you about what we mistake for
For
listening.
listening. Yeah, yeah,
Like, of course I'm listening, but you didn't demonstrate what you did. What you demonstrated is that you've been waiting to talk.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right. So lots of these things are counterintuitive to us only because we've never taken the time or had the moment or had somebody say, by the way, when you rolled your eyes and checked your texts while I was talking, um, I felt a little disrespected as
You get
opposed.
you get that every now and then, huh?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. My favorite is when I'm in a room full of people and somebody is looking down under their desk and they're texting like nobody else knows what they're doing.
I was sitting with a group of, middle schoolers years ago when I was a small group leader for them, and one of our rules was, phones up. Phones in the middle, um, and at the other end of the table from where I was, this kid was looking down at his lap and laughing, and I was like, "Dude, put your phone up." And he goes, "How'd you know?" I said, "Well, you're looking down at your lap laughing. You've either got a phone or we got something else to talk about." And, you know, it's yeah, we could go forever on the rudeness of that. But that's a great story you're talking about, to bring somebody to invite somebody in about what listening really looks like, okay? And so I wrote down what you said about discover. You've got stories about that. Um, Within the story could be, 'cause see, this is smooth. Here's what I've discovered. Here's a story about it, okay? Here's what I've got for you. Here's what it'll do for you, and now you're invited to. I mean, why not use the language? I've got an invitation for you, Here it is. Um, and the recording of this will be out Saturday, and I'll send it to you today, so you don't gotta get everything written down.
Oh,
But
good.
that's the kind of sales letter, if you wanna use that phrase, that people are gonna love you for, okay? Because it's not hypey, it's not rubbing cheese on your neck. I'm gonna start using that term
I
a
love.
lot. Okay, now I wrote something down in my notes. Um, because at the beginning, when you first sent me the challenge, it sounded like contribution versus cash, okay?
Mhm.
And with the marketing versus invitation, we've gone from contribution versus cash to contribution plus cash, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. I'd like to take it a step further with what we're building here and talk about contribution times cash.
Okay.
Because when you contribute and get cash for it, that allows you to contribute more.
Mhm.
And the more you contribute, the more transformation you get, the more cash you get. And here we got a nice, instead of a vicious cycle, a really positive cycle. Now, I know you to be somebody that could come up with 10 ideas before I finish this sentence. Okay. I know that because I'm the same way. And you know, you said it at the beginning, you've done all these things. You say it at the beginning of your Facebook, I mean your Substack, and that's fascinating. Okay. The challenge is going to be out of all of those things, and perhaps listening is the first thing, and I think that would be a good one. Um, how does Mac choose one and put on temporary blinders?
You mean so that I'm focused on this rather than
Yes, yes. As a very rich friend of mine once explained it to me, he used a clock for an analogy. He says, us creative people are real good at going from 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock. The idea, and we could do this and we could do that, and then we could do this, and then it turned into this. And, exciting. And then we don't do anything with it. We go back to 12 o'clock and we do the 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and back to 12, you know. And what my friend shared with me was that's the creativity part. The cash part is 6 o'clock to 12 o'clock. Step one, step 1A, all the way to cash in pocket or check in the bank, or however we do it now. Tells you how long ago that story was told to me. Um, and so it, the question could become, well, Jeff, out of all these things, which one should I pick? And sometimes my answer is it doesn't matter. Pick one. As long as that thing reloads, in other words, there's more clients coming, right? As long as it's something you care about, and as long as it's something people will spend money on. Okay. We live in the most connected, disconnected culture that I've known in my lifetime. You know, I remember sitting around a restaurant round table with my two sons who brought a couple friends. And of course, they were texting. And what really got to me was they were texting each other across the table. Like, no, 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 no. And we made a family rule at that time. Phones in the middle, okay? And if anybody picks one up before we're done, you're buying. And really took care of it. um, and so my point, and I do have one, I think people are hungry for what you have, presented in a helpful, kind, and ethical way. And so, um, how 18 thoughts at once. Can you commit to this one contribution until there's cash? Do you like that alliteration?
yeah, you're at it again.
Yeah, I know. I'm full of it.
You might want to switch to decaf um yes, with a proviso, is
Oh,
or there this is not going to be singular for me because I have other projects that are part of my business which are bringing in
yeah, that's
money.
fine.
You know,
That's
those are,
fine.
yeah, I would love to take, right, I'm just going to hold up a thing. All right, this is a little something that somebody made. You can buy this. It like holds your phone or your pen or something.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it's really cool, and I'm a doggy guy. Okay, this is what I want to focus on, and this is a story now. This is not. I'm not going to actually market these things, but this is the thing. So I'm not going to focus on this. I'm not going to focus on this. I'm going to focus on this. So my question to you is: there are steps to do that,
Mhm.
and I think the first step is to commit to focus on that.
Yes, sir.
So that commitment I have just made because I believe in the document I sent you. I know that it's valuable. I know that it adds to people's ahas and light bulbs. Rather than going from A to J, which is my temptation,
Nuh-uh.
I need some help with you to go to B until B is satisfactory, and then to go to C, et cetera, which I can do, um, but it doesn't come naturally to me.
I understand that, and here's how we can do that. We'll get from A to B, but first we gotta go to A1,
Okay.
okay? Not the steak sauce, but the first step,
Yeah.
okay? You're committed to this, you believe in it, okay? The next step, um, and whether it's clients or friends or people you know, okay? You wanna send them about a 5-question survey about I don't know if I'd call it a course, but an invitation to listen. What would you like to learn about listening? Kind of thing. And we'll put that together. Um, because the reason that's the A1 is that I've worked with so many hundreds of people that had a great idea, spent a year building something, and they liked it, and so did their mom, you know? And I don't want you to do that. Um, and I want you to because when you do that and you ask the question, okay, it's a very respectful, kind thing to do. And it also makes them feel like they're part of it, which is important. And the invitational piece is the more part of something someone feels, the more likely they are to buy it.
Mhm.
Okay. So there'll be questions like, what's your biggest challenge with listening? What's it like to how much does it hurt to not be listened to? Um, and what's your favorite way to learn stuff? Is it video? Is it group? Is it individual? You want a guide? What do you want? Um, and then we can work on all the others. Um, I think you've picked a really good topic. Um, and here's one of the things you can do to help with with that questionnaire. Um, and you can listen to the replay, or you can write this down. But you head over to Claude or ChatGPT, and you say, given everything you know about me, Matt Bogert, okay, and the importance of listening and all the things I've done, including my superpowers, okay, please create a 5-item survey for a course, for a product, for whatever on listening. Okay. And they'll do that. And it comes up pretty strong. I did that one for yesterday um, about somebody who's helping, is a cancer survivor, and she's going to help people right through cancer, write about it as a way to heal. It's beautiful. Um, and we created the survey yesterday. So play with that, and I'll play with it on my end too, and then we'll connect and talk about where to go from here. Um, you know what? You've done a fantastic job, and just under 30 minutes as we begin to wrap up here. Um, this, because you and I have talked a bunch, this feels like the most trying to think of a word that doesn't start with C. Wanted to say certain, but the most likely one that's going to turn into something that's going to help a lot of people It'll be a nice stream of income for you so you can help more people. How's that land?
Appropriately and comfortably.
I like that. I like that. Now, let me read a couple comments here. Marlene says, I'd love that. I love that. I'd like to invite you to join our 7-day free trial. And then she liked your comment. Ha ha ha. Switch to decaf. Um, now, this wasn't these are never all about our guests. Okay. Because while you're watching this, folks, you're learning. You're going, oh, that sounds like me. That I do that, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. Matt didn't need to get better at marketing. He needed a story that fit with who he is. Okay. To invite people to listen. Right. And you're going to have fun knowing you, busting through a lot of the listening myths, you know, because I'm looking at you and nodding my head means I'm listening. No, you could be somewhere else, you know, and usually are. All right. So, um, I know the answers to those questions. A lot of today, folks, is about permission. Okay.
Mhm.
Permission to do this in your way. Okay. Now you're going to look different than everybody else online. And that's really good. Okay. As we started with, every story can be rewritten. We've played with that today. Um, because every challenge has a story. We've rewritten it. And now we've not only created a new future for you, for every person you touch through this and their families and their families' families. And you're doing a pretty cool thing here, pal. So, folks, I'm glad you guys were here. And maybe this isn't your challenge. You got pieces of it. Maybe yours is fear or relationships or procrastination, like Cynthia's was a couple weeks ago. It's your business, it's your life. Like we said, behind every challenge is a story. Bring me your challenge, and together we'll rewrite your future. And the place to go for that, okay? Totally free, totally invitational, as I model what we were talking about earlier. I'm inviting you to go to jeffherring.com/SSL. SSL stands for Story and Strategy Live. jeffherring.com .com/SSL. Now, that'll be in the Saturday letter, the story and strategy letter about this as we break this down and talk about what happened. You can go there now. You can go there Saturday. Um, there's a cool comment here by Phil.
Either Phil, I can.
So many problems in society caused by a decline in basic human interaction, and interpersonal communication skills. Listening is an exercise in compassionate oh man, we've got the C's working today.
Yeah.
Compassionate concentration. I like that with another soul in a world fighting over people's attention. And Phil, what that makes me think of is I every time I run into somebody who I get is listening to me, and I picture it this at church most of the time because that's where I hang with a lot of people. And some people are looking at you, but they're looking past you to see who's walking by and who else they want to talk to. And other people look at you in a way that says, this is the only thing in the world right now that matters. And that's a great feeling. And those people are few and far between. You raise those up, dude. Um, Dude. All right. So we'll talk afterwards after we hang up. Well, not today, but I'll send you some stuff and then we'll figure out some next steps. A1, A2, A3. Um, and so, folks, thank you for being here. A lot of places you could have been, and there's always more every day online. You chose to be with us. And that is always a compliment that I'm honored by. Um, we want you, if you want to be sitting in Mac's seat, okay? Not at his house, but in your own office or home. Um, all you got to do is go to jeffherring.com/SSL, some questions to answer um, to make sure I can help you. And we'll schedule it from there. It's completely free. And as always, folks, we invite you to go use this stuff. I want to read one more comment by Phil. True listening can become a super cool superpower if packaged right. I am going to take this chat and copy it because it's, as Dr. Tamara said, this is good stuff. Matt, thanks for being a great guest. I think you're going to change the world with this. Not only yours, but a lot of people's. And one of the things we'll do is bring it back in front of these people. Any final questions or words of wisdom before you wrap up? That's me asking you. Not you guys out there, but you, Mac. Any final questions? Words of wisdom.
I was looking at the chats like, well, apparently no. There we go.
Yeah.
You filled some spaces that I wasn't sure I had, but I suspected they were there. So I really appreciate that.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Can't wait to fill some more and help some people. Phil says, great convo. Thanks, everyone. My pleasure as always, Phil. And we have a guest next week that will be dealing with a life challenge, not just a business challenge, a life challenge, because we do business and life here. And most of the time, they're pretty connected. So, till next week, go visit jeffherring.com. There's my invitation, jeffherring.com/SSL. And then we'll get you in your guest seat and take your challenge and change your life if you're into that kind of thing. All right. Until that time, folks, go use this stuff. And again, thanks for being here. We
Adios.
will catch you next time.